Order. Order, members. We'll continue with the business of the House. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements. Order number 8, procedural motion, reduction of publication period of a specified bill.
Order, members. Nipatie mic. Order. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance. Honorable Kimani Kuria.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, that this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill 30 of 2024 from 7 to 4 days. Honorable Speaker, the reduction of this publication period is to give enough room for public participation so that we can have a robust conversation about this Finance Bill of 2024, and most importantly, to avert a possible special sitting for this Friday, because if you don't make the decision now, then we might have to reconvene a special sitting on Friday.
Order. Honorable Mogaka, take your seat. Honorable Joash, take your seat. Honorable Robbie, take your seat. Member for Sirisia, take your seat. Honorable Clive, take your seat. Honorable Sunkuli, break the Kamukunji. Honorable members, we cannot even hear the mover. Kindly let us be orderly. Member for Molo, can you move again?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 120, that this House resolves to reduce the publication period for the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024 from 7 to 4 days. Honorable Speaker, the essence of this provision of reducing the publication period from 7 to 4 days is to give enough room for public participation. There are a lot of measures that the Finance Bill of 2024 has proposed, and it's very important that we give a robust time, to give sufficient time for Kenyans to participate in bringing us their views, and that's why we propose this reduction in the publication period. Because in addition, Honorable Speaker, the import of this is also we may have to have a special sitting on Friday if we don't reduce this publication period, and we don't really need to do that. In that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to request Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oudo, the MP for Funyula, to second.
Order. Order, members.
Procedural motion.
Member for Sirisia, you're being disorderly. Take your seat. Honorable Makula, take your seat. So that you can hear Honorable Oudo. Second the motion. Honorable Oudo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the procedural motion, specifically the procedural motion to reduce the publication period. We have always had a challenge in this country, Honorable Speaker, that such an important bill like the Finance Bill is never given adequate time to be subjected to public participation. On the account that they are seeking to reduction of the publication period so that they give adequate time for public participation, Honorable Speaker, on that account I support. But as I support, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee and I want to urge the members who will sit in the committee that public participation, Honorable Speaker, should not be an exercise in futility, should not be an exercise in vanity, but the comments, the views of the people of Kenya must be taken into account when preparing the final report. Honorable Speaker, if that doesn't happen, then the process of public participation is going to become a farce. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the reduction of the publication period.
Honorable members, I therefore, Honorable Modoni, take your seat. Honorable Kagiri, take your seat. Honorable members, I therefore propose the motion that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill, number 30 of 2024 from 7 days to 4 days. Is that the mood of the House? I therefore put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024 from 7 days to 4 days. Are as many as are of that opinion say aye? As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, the Finance Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the law relating to various taxes and duties and for matters incidental thereto. Order number 10, motion, consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024.
Chairperson, Budget and Appropriation Committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on motion 10, that is the consideration of Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, that is National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and the consultations are too high.
The chair cannot even hear himself. Order, members, let us keep the consultations down. Member for Nyoro, kindly resume your seat. Honorable Ikana, take your seat. Member for Sirisia, this is the third time. Take your seat. Let us hear the chair.
Take your seats. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2024 be now considered. Honorable Speaker, and I beg the members can afford some few minutes so that we are able to understand each other. Honorable Speaker, whereas it is obligatory for me to move this motion, Honorable Speaker, I also rise actually to reject the motion, Honorable Speaker, based on several things and reasons that I'll be giving to the members in this House. Honorable Speaker, I can barely actually also hear myself.
Let me try assist you. No, now you can hear you. You can hear you. Go on.
Honorable Speaker and members, the motion before us is very important. And as I said before, as the chairperson of Budget and Appropriations Committee, whereas it is obligatory for me to bring forth this motion, Honorable Speaker, I actually rise to reject the amendments by the Senate for several reasons, Honorable Speaker, that I would wish that members understand and also to communicate clearly on those issues, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Budget and Appropriations Committee set actually over this recess, and Honorable Speaker, even in our report that I am sure members already have, we have decided to reject the amendments by the Senate, Honorable Speaker, for the following reasons. But before I go to the reasons, I want to make it very categorical and clear for Kenyans and to Kenyans that the National Assembly, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, we 100% support devolution. And Honorable Speaker, we support when resources go to our various counties, because even our governors are trying to do their best in terms of adjudicating and appropriating the monies that we appropriate in this House, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, on the onset, it is important for us to understand that the Budget Committee and this National Assembly will fully and unequivocally support devolution, and that is why year in, year out, we actually continue to increase the amount of money that we horizontally push to our counties, Honorable Speaker, based on the bill that is before us today. But Honorable Speaker, even as we support our county governments and our governors to do their role, Honorable Speaker, insofar as governing and leading our county governments is concerned, Honorable Speaker, our country and also our devolved governments, Honorable Speaker, we operate on a fixed envelope and an envelope that is quite thin, Honorable Speaker. Just for us to be on the same page, the bill before us, Honorable Speaker, and I was conversing with Honorable Mokoji about it just a few minutes ago. The bill before us is the bill that actually, Honorable Speaker, shares our national cake vertically, Honorable Speaker. Vertically to say, this bill, Honorable Speaker, allocates a block figure that goes as shareable share, Honorable Speaker, equitable share to our counties. And then thereafter, Honorable Speaker, the formula that is made by the Commission for Revenue Allocation, then that money is shared horizontally among the 47 counties. But before us today is basically about vertical share, Honorable Speaker, and shareable revenue to our counties, Honorable Speaker. The rest will be ensuing later. Honorable Speaker, why are we rejecting this motion, Honorable Speaker, and the amendments by the Senate? Honorable Speaker, this House previously passed the same division of revenue bill, Honorable Speaker. But as it should be, then it proceeded to the Senate. Honorable Speaker, when it proceeds to the Senate, in case Senate agreed with this House, Honorable Speaker, then this bill would have gone to the next stage. But Honorable Speaker, as it is procedurally, when there are amendments by the Senate, and then they push back the bill to this House, if this House agrees with the bill, then the bill continues carrying the amendments of the Senate. But Honorable Speaker, when this House rejects, as we are going to do this afternoon, then Honorable Speaker will have to go through a mediation process between this House and the Senate so that we can have a common ground on this matter, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as we reject this bill, it is thus an opportunity we are requesting from this House that they give us an opportunity to proceed to mediation between this House and the Senate so that we can get a middle ground. Honorable Speaker, what are the facts around it? Honorable Speaker, in the budget policy statement that we passed earlier this year, Honorable Speaker, we were working with a budget then of around 4.18 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, after the passage of the BPS, we have had to relook at our budget, and Honorable Speaker, we have actually been able to slash close to Kenya shillings 270 billion, and therefore the budget we are dealing with now is a budget of around 3.913 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, when we appropriated or when we set the ceilings in the budget policy statement, the shareable revenue or the share, the equitable share that we had provided to our counties was approximately 391 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, and this is what I would implore upon my colleagues even to get this point. Whereas we appropriated or we set a ceiling of 391 billion Kenya shillings, when our budget then was 4.18 trillion, even after we slashed the expenditure by the national government by 270 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, we have still gone ahead, Honorable Speaker, to let the figure of 391 persist in the current budget of consideration. And therefore, we have not affected the equitable share that we actually passed in the budget policy statement, even after we had slashed all the other departments. But Honorable Speaker, when this bill proceeded to the Senate, then the Senate, in their wisdom, thought it is proper that we consider a different figure. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, whereas this House is dealing with a figure of 391 billion, our colleagues in the Senate, Honorable Speaker, have proposed in the current motion that we are debating today a figure of 415 billion Kenya shillings as equitable share, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there is a gap of Kenya shillings 24.8 billion Kenya shillings. These are the ramifications, Honorable Speaker. We are currently dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is actually, Honorable Speaker, a very modest and a very considerate deficit. In fact, in the region, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is the one operating on the lowest deficit to GDP ratio in terms of the estimates that we'll be debating later on in this House. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, so to say, we want to cap our deficit at 2.9%. And therefore, our budget is inelastic. Whatever amount of money we may want to add to our counties, over and above the 391 billion Kenya shillings, a certain vote has to give way. Because, Honorable Speaker, we are not dealing with an open envelope.
Honorable members on my right, the consultations are too loud. Honorable Nyakundi, Honorable Karidho, take your seats. Honorable Meli, we need to hear the chair. Honorable Gashagwa, break the Kamukunji, take your seat. The members on my right, kindly maintain order. Continue, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a deficit to GDP ratio of 2.9%, which is the right trajectory for our economy, Honorable Speaker. It is already giving the right signals in our markets. That is why we see even the cost of borrowing is actually coming down domestically and externally. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is for the interest of this House and our country that even as we make the current budget, which the current division of revenue bill is a component of, that we have this in mind, Honorable Speaker, that it is proper that we know that the estimates we'll be considering are not inelastic. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a closed envelope. And therefore, if, Honorable Speaker, we were to consider a figure higher than the 391 billion Kenya shillings already set in the ceiling at the budget policy statement, Honorable Speaker, therefore, certain votes and certain expenditure lines have to give way. And Honorable Speaker, it is important for this House to also know some of the considerations that are on the table. If we need to add the shareable revenue from 391 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, the first proposal is that we slash the RMLF that is going to our counties by 10 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. And that is the reason why the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected the report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the second consideration for us to bridge the gap of the 24 billion is for us to slash NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, from the current proposed figure, Honorable Speaker, and we slash NGCDF by 10 billion Kenya shillings to go into the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. If the wisdom of this House is to agree with the Senate, then we'll have no choice than to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion at the RMLF to go to the shareable revenue, Honorable Speaker. And that is one of the reasons why the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected. Honorable Speaker, secondly, if you are to agree with the current amendments by the Senate, we may have to slash Kenya shillings 10 billion from NGCDF to go to the shareable revenue. And Honorable Speaker, that is the second reason that the Budget and Appropriations Committee rejected those proposals by the Senate, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, I request this House to agree with the Budget and Appropriations Committee, we reject, Honorable Speaker, the proposed amendment by the Senate so that we proceed to the mediation so that we are able to safeguard critical areas which we have already ring-fenced, Honorable Speaker, like RMLF, like NGCDF, which we have already done already. So by this House agreeing for us to reject, we will be saying this, Honorable Speaker, that Kenya shillings 10 billion goes back to the Constituency Roads Committee in our constituencies. By rejecting, Honorable Speaker, we will be saying no to cuts on NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, because NGCDF, or Honorable Speaker, the proposals we are already in the process of doing, Honorable Speaker, and it will be injurious to NGCDF